Are you Matthew Aldridge?
I'm the attorney of fact for Matthew Aldridge.
You were what?
The attorney of fact.
Attorney what?
Of fact.
Attorney of fact. And what does that mean?
His authorization to do legal representation.
Are you a licensed attorney?
No, I'm simply an attorney of fact.
Okay. And does that mean you have a power of attorney? What is your name? What is your name?
Hey guys, today's court hearing is absolutely wild. We've got Matthew Aldridge, or at least that's what the papers say. The guy at the podium is pulling the classic I don't have a name routine, calling himself an attorney of fact. Quick reality check, that's not even a real thing. Sovereign citizens love to argue that courts don't have power over them. But here's the truth. If you're standing in that courtroom, the court has jurisdiction, period. And the judge here? He's not buying it for a single second. In fact, he shuts this guy down in the most epic way. At the end, completely outsmarts him.
You don't have a name? Pardon?
I'm an attorney of fact for the respondent to the hearing.
Well, let me explain to you. Only an attorney at law can stand in court and represent a criminal defendant. And to do so otherwise violates the criminal law statutes of the state of Tennessee and could land someone who attempts to represent themselves as an attorney at law in serious trouble. I understand what you're saying. I understand you're saying an attorney in fact. And what I want you to understand is that if you have a power of attorney, then you need to demonstrate that power of attorney. Do you have a legal document called a power of attorney?
I do not.
Okay. Then you don't have any authority to act on behalf of Matthew Aldridge in this court. You have no legal authority, nor do you have any authority through a legal document to represent or to act on behalf of Matthew Aldridge. Show it to the bailiff and he'll show it to me.
Get this. The guy actually tries to back up his attorney of fact claim by handing the judge a piece of paper. And I know you guys didn't see it because it was kind of a slow moment, but trust MIT was ridiculous. It quoted some totally made-up law that supposedly gave him the right to represent Matthew Aldridge. For the record, real attorneys are licensed by the state and follow actual procedures, not this one-page DIY legal fantasy stuff. Sovereign citizens love to argue jurisdiction, as if declaring themselves above the law magically works. Spoiler alert, it doesn't. Courts run on centuries of established law, not imaginary ones. Honestly, is this sovereign citizen thing actually spreading? Or am I just unlucky enough to keep stumbling on these cases?
Matthew Neal Aldridge has failed to appear personally in this court for the plea day on his case, which is set for trial tomorrow. And as a result, you have no standing, sir, under what I know what you're trying to do is to try to use the sovereign citizen approach to this situation. And I'm simply telling you that you do not have the right to represent Matthew Neal Aldridge. If you are, in fact, Matthew Neal Aldridge, then you need to say so and stop this nonsense, because what you're attempting to do has no legal effect. You cannot challenge the criminal law or the jurisdiction of this court by simply filing some legal mumbo jumbo having to do with civil litigation. That has civil litigation in it. It is not a criminal case that you have cited. So it has no effect on this court regarding the criminal statutes of this court. This court is empowered under the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution of the state of Tennessee and by the duly elected citizens of Cheatham County to empower and enforce the laws of the state of Tennessee. And that is what I'm going to do regarding Matthew Lynn Aldridge. Mr. Aldridge is set for today to appear in court personally on what we call our last plea day before his trial date tomorrow.
Is that an article 3 trial?
To what?
Would that be an article 3 trial? A trial by jury with jury?
It would be a trial by jury. Certainly, it would be. But I don't know who you are. And I don't think you have any authority if you are not Matthew Lynn Aldridge to appear before this court. And you are wasting valuable time to all these other citizens who are here today. So when I'm talking, you stop talking. You will when I'm finished talking. you are wasting the court's time by doing this, and I'm just simply instructing you that if you are, in fact, Matthew Lynn Aldridge, then this is your last day to settle your case. The trial date is set for tomorrow, and unfortunately, it will not go forward because of the fact that I have a conflict and I have to be in Stewart County on a civil matter. So we're going to assign a new trial date for Matthew Lynn Aldridge. All right. To Matthew Aldridge and the individual standing before me whose name must not be altered,
AbsolutePro.com. Collected and shutting this nonsense down at every turn. The guy barely got a chance to push his attorney of facts spiel before the judge dismantled it piece by piece. And when he started quoting those fake laws, the judge wasn't having it. My favorite moment? When the judge told him he couldn't even utter his own name? That was hilarious. Judges are usually stone-faced, but you could tell this one had zero patience for the circus. Bottom line, it shows just how pointless these sovereign citizens.
Trial date for Mr. Aldridge. Your whatever this document is that you have filed is in fact invalid because it does not cite any valid criminal statute, and therefore I'm denying whatever that might be in the way of a motion. Trial date will be July 15th. The last day for Mr. Aldridge to enter a plea or go to trial will be July the 8th. July the 8th. Now, we're going to give you a card. If you are, in fact, Matthew Aldridge and you're just playing games with the court regarding this nonsense that you filed, then you may get this card and you may go on about your business. If you are not Matthew Aldridge, then I would suggest to you, you relay to Mr. Aldridge that he must appear on July the 8th, or a bond revocation will take place, and his case will be set, will take place with him in jail, incarcerated on the 15th.
Sovereign citizens are truly something else. They think they can opt out of the legal system by claiming they don't recognize government authority. They'll start spouting off about common law or the UCCID Uniform Commercial Code without actually understanding how any of it works. But here's the deal. Courts operate under federal, state, and local laws. Those laws have been in place for centuries. Backed by the Constitution, there's no loophole where you just decide the rules don't apply to you. Judges don't entertain it, because jurisdiction is simple if you're in the area. The court has authority over you. End of story. And if you try to beat a speeding ticket or dodge taxes with this nonsense, you won't just lose. You could get slapped with even harsher penalties for wasting the court's time. Honestly, I don't get why people keep trying this. Do they really think they're outsmarting the system, or is it just rebellion for the sake of rebellion? Either way, it's ridiculous, and honestly, kind of sad. They're not fighting the system, they're just embarrassing themselves.